Okay guys, welcome to Banished. I actually just recorded this and then realized that no video came out. It's fantastic. So I'm gonna do this whole thing again, and I'll explain all about it as we get into it. We're gonna name a town. We're gonna name it Clint. Wait, yeah, I can do spaces. Clint Water. We're going to do valleys and not mountains, because valleys are better. Mountains kind of suck. We're going to do large. Mountains make it really hard. Climate mild, because, you know, whatever. Disasters on and certain conditions, it's easy. Because what is going to be is a nice, relaxing play of this game. I'm going to start it up, and you'll see. Pause it from get-go. Set up some buildings, set up some jobs. I'll explain the jobs of the citizens and the little menus. And then I'll give you guys a little explanation about what I want to do with this series, because I want it to be a little bit different. And I was hoping that that explanation would be the amount of loading time that it was, and oh, it was perfect. You know, close enough. Okay, so I pause it here. And, oh, look at this start. Nice, we got some land up here to do whatever we please with. We got some land in this. I don't like it. Well, okay, that'll be fine. We got some, because we're gonna need some things. This might not look great on video, I'm sorry. But this is the scroll speed. Seems a little choppy to me. You know what? Maybe we'll get to there. Okay. So, first things I do in this game is, this is jobs. We want a jobs list so we can assign people to things. We want our event log, which will tell us stuff that goes on in the town. And then this is just general information about whatever's going on. That's the first thing that we want to do is make sure that this place is gonna have food. And you know what? I'm gonna go crazy. Actually, is that gonna be? Yeah, screw it. We're gonna go crazy. We're gonna build two of these things, but one of them's gonna be over here. Totally different fishing area. Huge range. Oh my god. Sorry. Bless me. Whatever, etc. That'll be fantastic. And then also, it appears that we have some sheep in this mess. We are going to want to build a pasture. I think I'm actually going to build it bigger than I did the last time, if I can. Yes, not this big. Well, no, I don't like that number. You know what? Fuck it. We'll build a huge pasture. Because sheep are great, and they give you wool and food, so you're going to want a lot of them, at least in my opinion. Then we're going to want to say 6 of these people to go build. And then hit pause, unpause, and let it go. We're actually going to, previously, we'll let the game run at, nope, wrong thing. We'll let the game run at, I want to build a bigger stockpile too. I let the game run at 2 times speed, but since there was a fuck up, I'm going to let it run at 5 times speed to get a little bit, you know, more done. Okay. I just don't like, I want a bigger stockpile, and I don't need 2, really. That's why I did that. So, I'm gonna let people do the thing. Before I set him, let him do chopping down crap. I'm gonna let everything run. Ooh, officially everything is done. I don't know why I paused it. I guess I just didn't want to lose any time. Did I pause it? Whatever. I paused it that time. I just didn't want to... wanted to prevent time loss while... chopping down the trees is noisy. I didn't want to miss out on any fishing opportunities because we need fish, we need food. The town needs food. Obviously, when you think about that, that's pretty obvious. Town needs food, people need to eat, whatever. This will also give us a decent amount of resources because it's covering up a big area. We're going to chop down a lot of this crap. I might make an orchard? I don't know, we'll see. Might build some town stuff, general towny things this way and this way, like save this area. Reserve of stone is low, whatever. Save like this area for the startings of a town, and then save this area too for maybe some extra houses later, but whatever. Okay. While I've got things going and letting it go, we're gonna slow it down a little bit. There's a lot of fishers in this. This is gonna be a big fishing town. This is gonna be a fishing town. Oh, why? Okay, we're also gonna build a woodcutter because those are good. Okay, I just want to say, this is a nice, relaxing game. Let your mind wander, do whatever, and I like that. And I figured I want to do a series where that's the goal. Is that we look at this, we go, ah, cool. We can relax, we can talk about whatever, we can, talk to each other via comments and me talking through this. And just think maybe it's be an end of the week kind of thing. Thinking a Sunday probably. Maybe a start of the week, depends on how you define that. I think of Sunday as the end of the week. But like calendars, sometimes people don't think of that because I think they have the calendars where it's like Sunday through Saturday on a calendar, not Monday through Sunday. I don't know. It's a totally pointless thing, but still, I just wanted to open this up to make sure there's as much interactivity as possible. Most interactivity we have currently is, I'll give a shout out to a cool guy, the Twisted Nips Gaming, who leaves tons of comments and has most recently did a little jam out song on his guitar for me fighting the Many from System Shock 2, which I thought was totally rad. The hymn on the guitar part, not the, the game part was rad too, but you know what I mean. So shout out for that, and just in general, that's awesome. And I forgot to put more Fisher people. Yes, we're going to have tons and tons of food. Oh, right. And I wanted to look at this and see the food limit here that we're not going to reach, but make it 10 times as much. But yeah, just this will be a video series. I'm thinking maybe once a week, kind of wind down, chill, take a load off, relax, talk about cool stuff during the week, talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. Just relax, have a good time, take a load off. Like I was thinking, I beat 2 games recently that were pretty stressful. The Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, because it was difficult and I kind of sucked at it, and System Shock because it was horror game and there's monsters trying to eat me the whole time. You know what I mean. Anyway, where did I build that? I built it right here. Okay. So yeah, those were things. And other life stresses and etc. So it's nice to take a break, I guess. But that's what this is going to be about. And I'll talk about things, just like things that are on my mind or whatever, that I wouldn't necessarily have the time to get out there in something else. I think we're going to go back to slowing it down once we finish this field up. Or slowing it down. We're going to drop it to 2 times speed instead of 5 times. But yeah, and it's kind of weird to have to re-talk about some of the same things, but I did want to make a point that I heard in the news that their company responsible for putting out the remakes, or not remakes, the remasterings or whatever, the re-releases of System Shock 1 and 2, as System Shock 1 just came out, which is pretty cool, but I heard you have to do some crafting, make sure it works control wise, its controls are smooth, but you have to whatever. The company has decided to like do an actual remake of System Shock, which is pretty cool because I like the System Shock 2, and I feel like the games deserve that. So, talks like, I don't know exactly what this is going to entail as a remake, but they talked about, I think they said that they got like a concept artist, the concept artist from System Shock back to do it. I'm gonna take a lot of logs. It's all building now. Okay, they're gonna get the guy, whoever did that, back. So that'll be cool to see. And they talked potential, like that it's basically just a maybe, but it's possible at this point of making System Shock 3, which I think would be rad. Would love to like see. You'd love to see like a conclusion. Actually, I'm gonna pause it real quick to make sure we got all this going. I'm gonna take a person off because we definitely want Hertzman. Okay, let it go, and then slow it down. Okay. Ooh. But yeah, talked about that. I think that that's cool. I'm cautiously optimistic. Like, I would love for it to be awesome if they made a 3. But, you know, it might not be. Who knows? It could be great, it could suck. Depends on what they do with it. We'll just have to, like, you know, keep your ears to the ground, pay attention, pick up on the news whenever they talk about it more, if it's, like, gets to the point where it's even actually going to be a for sure instead of just a possibility at this point. But I also talked about I'm playing Fallout 4, which I love. And I love the Fallout series. Played 3 mostly, and New Vegas. I haven't really played much of 1, 2, or Tactics. I've always wanted to go back to them. I just haven't for whatever reason. Actually, how many can this hold? 39. Wow. It's gonna be crazy. But yeah, I've always wanted to go back to them, but I just never have. Actually gonna be low on people, I think, at this point. Didn't I just... Oh, I thought I did that. Okay. Oops, I put them in the wrong profession. Good move. There we go. But yeah, I've been having great fun with 4. I think most people like it. I know there are some legitimate complaints about it, about it looking dated, which I don't personally care about, but, you know, the standard... There's the bugs that are in big Bethesda things. People are like, there's always bugs. It's really gonna take 4 people? Yeah, I guess. They like, you know, talk about the bugs, all that kind of crap. And I, you know, understand, I agree. But I still like it. I love all the world building they did. I loved all that stuff that they thrown in there. All that kind of stuff. I think it's great. I've been spending far too much time playing it recently, so I couldn't explain, you know, partially explain why nothing happened this week video-wise. Oh my god. I'm going to need herbalist, which we're probably going to utilize this area as our forest area, which I'll explain when I'm not going to do it just yet, but we'll get there. Wait till this is, and I think actually what we're going to do, because people are going to have babies. I'm going to build another house. But yeah, it's taking up a lot of time. Like I said, I just wanted to take a little break and relax, and then I'm going to make this video series where it will give me a time to do that on my own and still make something for this. So, that's that. That's what this is going to be about. A nice, relax at the end of your week, at the end of my week. The end thing is just take a deep breath and, you know, do whatever. That's what this is going to be about. And like I said, it'd be great to have more interaction with people that watch these. It'd be lovely. You know, comments talking about whatever. Like I said, maybe we'll bring up topics and have conversations about them. Oh, sorry. I had pizza earlier and it's still giving me heartburn and whatever. Ate too much of it. Whatever. But yes, so we'll have conversations. We'll figure out what we want to talk about. You guys can bring whatever you want to the table, and I'll just, nobody says anything, I'll just talk about things that I want to talk about. Like, I didn't get around to it last time in the video that totally didn't work at all. But I was thinking about, oh, we have more builders than we need. This would be good. Just have a laborer. Cut down some crap. Totally kind of lost what I was going to say about something. Oh, right. Recently, now I guess I actually haven't watched all of them, but I watched most of the Hellraiser movies, which was a thing I wanted to do, which was stupid, because 1 is great. I love Hellraiser 1. 2 is alright. 3 is kind of dumb, but wait, there's 3. I'm trying to remember now, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, because there's a lot. There's like 9 maybe now, but 3 is like dumb fun. Like, it's kind of fun, but it's also very stupid. And then 4, man, I really, before I talked about this, I should have like double checked which ones were which. But I think 4 is the one where it's in space, and that one's just like, what the fuck? And then other ones, like, whichever one is in space is not the last in the series, as in there are still been made, there's still movies made in years following that one. But like story-wise, it's like the last because they get rid of the puzzle box and like kill Pinhead, which with the sun or something. I don't know. It was really dumb and didn't make a lot of sense. But I loved 1. Like, going back, just going to talk about this series because I like. If you couldn't tell from playing System Shock, I don't necessarily play a lot of horror games, but horror as a genre, I love. I love horror. So, you maybe didn't know that, but now you do. Actually, I'm going to build one more house. Totally different game to the previous one, too. It's weird. Anyway. I love horror. I think horror is great. I like horror. I'd love to write horror. It's way harder than comedy. As you should know, I write comedy stuff. I've written it in the past and put it up here. People thought it was funny. You can check that out. Whatever. What was I gonna build? Right. When do we have sheep? I'm actually going to set up a bunch of buildings first before we keep going. And then they're going to take longer to build than, like, people will take a long time to build them because we don't have a lot of builders or people right now, but that's whatever. Herbalist, which I think is more important than a gatherer, which is also a thing that we're going to build. I like building this like little group of huts together. Actually, that was kind of dumb, I think, but whatever. Yeah, we'll build the gatherer's hut there. Okay, we're gonna build these buildings. It'll be okay. I'm not gonna worry, like, oh, I need 15 builders. They're not vital that they get done anytime soon. I think the house is probably the more important one to build. But hey, why don't we do this? You know what? No. We're gonna want some laborers to help chop down crap. Okay. Now while the people build the town, and we just let it go, and make sure, you know, to check on, and then we have food, which is what we do. We have plenty of food. You know, whatever. We'll get back to this. I was gonna say, I loved the Hellraiser series. Well, I loved the Hellraiser, the first couple movies. They were great. The first one was great because, like, the whole point of the thing, as in when we see, if you know the Hellraiser series, oh, fuck, no, it's, whatever. I was saying that I love horror. I want to write horror. I really enjoy the horror genre. There's lots of cool shit you can do with it because it's like sci-fi horror and just monsters are fun and like terrible, you know, evilness is cool, all that stuff. Like System Shock was great. I love the horror parts of it, really. And horror stuff is great. And I love like gross things, like not torture stuff, like not, well, the first Saw was good. I don't care about the rest of them. Definitely not like Hostel. No, that stuff is dumb, I think. That's just me personally. But like, you know, crazy monsters or like, say gross, as in like System Shock 2 was gross because you're crawling around inside of the Many, which is just like a big mass of living flesh. Grossness? I don't know a better way to describe it, really. You saw. Which I think that's cool. And I was thinking, I like the Hellraiser series as a point, or saying the same points over and over again. I like the first couple points of horror movies, but I watched a whole bunch of them. I haven't seen them all. I was working my way through it, and I haven't finished. But the original was great because it was all about the Cenobites and this evil guy whose name I forgot. But if you ever seen the movie, the guy that's like growing his skin back and coming to life more when I guess I'll just explain it. A family moves in this house, and it's I think it's like a stepmom. There's like the dad, the daughter, and a stepmom, I think, who turns out to be evil. Like, well, she doesn't turn out to be evil, but she like just kind of becomes a shitty person. Because one time she had an affair with like a guy, and he was like, you know, good at sex, I guess. I don't know. He was exciting and a bad boy kind of thing, which was whatever, dumb. But oh shit, we are running out of logs. Point is, he was that. He was exciting to this woman, and then he died, or he didn't die, but he like, he was wanting to explore all there was to the world. So he found that puzzle cube, which contains like the doorway to the other dimension with the Cenobites, and they're just people. Well, I don't know if that's what it was originally, but they're weird beings from a different dimension that are like, oh, we don't care, we're what was it like? Oh, they talk about pleasure and pain, like how there's not, that all melds together in their world, and it's like people are experiencing the pleasures of the flesh kind of thing in our world, and they're like, should I slow this down? I did. And so they're just living differently, but, you know, this is their enjoyment. And it's weird to us, because it's like weird torture stuff mostly, you know, whatever it is. But, like, so, I don't know, that guy got pulled into there, but then he came out and was, like, not really alive. He was just, like, gross clumps of stuff, and then, like, he wanted to grow back into a man, and he has this woman seduce people while her new husband's doing his job, and bring them back to this house so that the lover can consume them and grow into a person, which is craziness. But whatever. And he's just trying to escape the Cenobites, and the Cenobites want him back. And that's like how the daughter gets rid of the problems, which is like, Cenobites, you guys are crazy, I don't want to deal with your shit, but this guy is evil, so why don't you take him back? And they're like, we want him back because we don't want him to escape. He's our plaything and he's supposed to love it. But the point is, I liked them because the Cenobites, and specifically Pinhead, who became like the most well-known guy of that stuff, he was not like, he wasn't even I don't want to say he's amoral, but like, morals weren't an issue to him. His whole life was, he didn't care about our morality. He was just out because like he lived in this world where pleasure and pain aren't so different, and it's just like a different way of, that's all he cared about, the way his world worked. And as the series pressed on, they eventually made him like this punishment for people who are immoral, which I thought was horrible. Like, that's so boring. He was way cooler when he was just like, the weird, just like living in a different world kind of thing that he was from the first movie. That was cool. Then it's later, like, I kind of remember which one in the series where it's really dumb. It's just like this guy that's a shitty guy finds this stuff, and then like, I think he was like a private detective or just a regular detective or something, but he starts going crazy, and they torture him because he's a bad person, and it's just like, that's not at all what they were about originally. And like, sure, whatever, punishing immoral people and like that kind of thing, there's a place for it, and sometimes it's horror, and it's usually religiously overtoned stuff, and that's like, they do that too because they're like, oh, he's from hell, and it's like, originally he wasn't really from hell, he was from just a different thing where they had a different way of being. Like I'm saying, they were just, the pleasures of the flesh kind of thing is what it was, but like in just, a new state of being or whatever it was, totally different thing. And then it was like, no, he's from hell and he's gonna torture you because you're a bad person, and like, that's lame. It also doesn't make for a good movie, because so you make your main character a shitty and somewhat irredeemable person, and then when they get tortured and you paint like Pinhead as the bad guy, what the fuck? Like, I don't feel bad for that guy because he sucks. You know what I mean? And when it was people that weren't, like, in the original, what was her name? The girl from the original Hellraiser, she wasn't a bad person. She wasn't, like, there never really was a discussion about whether she was a bad person or a good person, but you could be sympathetic with her, which is important, I think. It devolved into this really dumb bullshit as time progressed, is pretty much what it is, which I feel like any movie series that drags on for a long time, or anything that gets remade a whole bunch, is usually what happens, where like, as time progressed, they're like, what did people like about Hellraiser? Oh, obviously the thing they liked about Hellraiser was Pinhead, and him being the bad guy. And it's just like, not really. Like the first, like, he wasn't the bad guy in the first one. The bad guy was that guy that was trying to, like, eating people and growing his flesh back. That was the bad guy. Who was cool, by the way, like, design-wise and stuff. But he was bad. You didn't like him. You didn't like the stepmom either. At least I didn't. But then, like I said, they just fuck everything up, because whatever, as time progressed, so that's that. But, gotta talk about Hellraiser, because I like it, and I love horror stuff. And I watched, it was Halloween, so that's why I played System Shock. And, can we do this? 68 stone. Yeah, we'll get more stone. It was Halloween, so I watched some horror stuff. I'm actually sad, although it's not, supposedly, not technically a horror movie, that I haven't seen that new Guillermo del Toro movie that I totally am blanking on the name, Crimson something. Something Crimson. Fuck. What the hell is that called? Whatever. The Crimson thing. My friend saw it, so said it was cool. I still want to see it. Just decide for myself, but because I like his monster design stuff. But whatever. I found a bunch of short horror movies that are independently made. I forgot the name of the channel that did it. Something. It's a similar title to the Scary Stories to Tell at the Dark from the book, but it's just spooky stories. Something. I don't know. Markiplier read something on there too, which was pretty cool, but that's not what I'm talking about. There's a bunch of little horror movies. I'm gonna wrap this up pretty soon too. Okay, I want to make. How is this going along? Very slowly. You know what? We're gonna do that. Oh, we got food. We got food for days. Okay. But yeah, so there was a bunch of little horror movies that were pretty cool, but not always, not all of them were great. Reason I brought this up. Oh yeah, because I was just thinking the bad guy, or the otherworldly force of horror, I think is generally more interesting when it's not I'm here to punish the wicked. It's kind of Bible-y, which isn't necessarily bad, but or I guess just religious in general, which still not necessarily bad. If it had any more sheep, grow more animals, have babies. But yeah, it's not necessarily bad, but it's just not. I don't know. It's not necessarily that exciting. It doesn't make for an interesting bad guy, with some exceptions. But just something that's otherworldly. I guess that's why I like Lovecraft stuff. Something that we can't understand. It's otherworldly. It's weird. It's whatever it is. It's a monster, and it doesn't have the same moral system or anything like that we do. It's totally different. And then I was thinking, because I watched some horror movie or horror short film that I thought was an interesting premise, but the execution made it look kind of dumb. Because the whole thing was about those crappy wind-up flashlights, and a girl hears noises in her barn and grabs her gun and puts on her cool boots and walks out to see what it is, but needs a flashlight. Her regular flashlight's out of battery, so she brings a wind-up flashlight, which sucks. So she has to wind it up multiple times and set her gun down and wind it up. And I feel like the girl who had the sense to put on shoes, to get the gun, to bring a flashlight, would either know not to bring that flashlight, or bring, as soon as it had a problem, be well, fuck this, it's not gonna make it. I need to get something better. And have a cell phone, because, cell phones have flashlights. This is a whole thing about, that there's, and if they don't, there's apps. There's, 9 billion flashlight apps. Everybody makes one. They're super easy. And add a bunch of bullshit, which is a topic for something totally different. But anyways, and it's just the reason she was thwarted, because she was prepared. She was our heroine. She was prepared. Unlike a lot of people in horrors that don't, horror movies and stuff, they either don't have the sense to do that, or don't have the ability or time or whatever to be ready for whatever they're going to come across. And the only reason she was defeated is because of the dumb wind-up thing. She had to set her gun down, and the bad guys took the gun from her, basically. But the bad guys were supernatural in some ways. They were absolutely. And I thought it was just dumb that they had this woman who seemed like on top of things, thwarted in such a stupid way. And like, my thought is just, you know what is scarier than like a mistake or whatever is your downfall, is just if these other worldly things were just stronger than you, like they have powers or something. Like, she could have run into him and seen whatever was going on, and instead of the thing having picked up her gun because she put down a shitty flashlight, could just like magic power her gun into its hand, or like she shoots it and it ignores the bullet. You know, like, I think that's part of horror, is that, you know, that's a real scary thing. What if you come at the bad guys, the big bads or whatever, you know, fully loaded, fully prepared, but it's just not enough. Like, that's scary. That's a good recipe for horror situations. I get it, though. I mean, that's not necessarily, like, it wasn't bad. That's just my criticism, and that my desire to tell stories like that would be that way. And I think we had a little baby sheep. It's also really cold in my room and snowing. We had 2 baby sheep. Maybe we got 10 now? Ooh, we got 11. Nice. But yeah, so I think that's just a little, like, this is what these are going to be, I think. We'll talk about something, or I'll bring something to the table that I want to talk about and just kind of ramble about it, because I like doing that. I know other people do that too, on their own things. It's usually after they've established themselves, but I think this is more for me than anybody else. But I would love it if other people joined in the conversation, bring up your opinions about whatever I talked about, or just say something you want to talk about, and then we'll talk about it next week. This was nice. It's relaxing, you know, take a deep breath, calm down, be what it is. We're doing it. Clint water is growing just fine, and before it gets too much later, thank you so much for watching. I'll put some links to stuff I talked about, specifically like Twisted Nips, and there was something else, my story things. But thanks for watching, guys. I will see you with this stuff next week, and we'll see what happens then. Thanks, guys.